Hello, Frederick Bartels here. Today I'm going to talk about the Samsung fridge you see behind me. I purchased this fridge about 2 years ago. The ice maker is in the fridge compartment. There are lots of problems with this refrigerator. There's stuff all over the internet about these problems. In fact, I saw a video from Channel 9 News that there's a class action lawsuit that was filed about a year ago against Samsung for this very fridge and the fact that the ice makers don't work. Ever since I purchased this fridge new about 2 years ago, every 45 days the ice maker would begin to frost up, ice up, and stop working. So I'd have to defrost the ice maker by leaving the fridge shut off for usually all night, and defrosting it, pulling the ice box out, making sure the ice is cleared out, and then putting it back into service. And then it'd run again for about another 45 days or so approximately, and then trouble would develop. Eventually, after several calls and chats with Samsung, I convinced them to extend my warranty. They sent a technician out who provided upgraded parts that he replaced in the ice maker and the labor, so this was free of charge. And he did this repair on the refrigerator recently. So I'm going to walk you through that and let you know what he did so that you can purchase these parts yourself and install them yourself if need be. And I'm going to also show you how I clean the condensing coil on the fridge. And then later, after some time goes by, I'll post another video and let you know if this fix really worked. One of the things I'd done previously before the technician came out is I'd watched several videos and I pulled the parts out of the ice maker and inspected them, put them back. I also sealed around the inside edge of the ice box, which I'll show you. That's recommended because if any moist air from the fridge is leaking up around that ice box, getting into the ice maker compartment, that warm, moist air will cause frosting and ice will develop and increase over time. So I sealed that, and I'm going to talk to you about that today as well. So here we go. When the technician arrived, the first thing he did was he put the fridge in forced defrost. So I'm going to show you how to do that at this time. Just to press the top left button, the freezer button, and the middle button on the right hand side at the same time, the lighting button, and just hold those, and that will put the fridge into a mode at which then you can select force defrost. So here's how that's done. Just to press these two buttons or touch the screen in these two locations and just hold it until you hear that beep, the display goes off. Then just press the lighting button and scroll through until you get to force defrost, okay? And then you'll hear this continuous beeping, and at this time the fridge is in force defrost. After that, when you begin to work on the ice maker, you can unplug the fridge and then begin your work. Also, if you're wanting to turn the fridge off and defrost your ice maker, such as all night long, for example, you can depress the two buttons on the left side and the top right button. Touch those areas at the same time, again, those three locations at the same time. And that will put the fridge in demo mode. And it will display FF or off on the display panel. And that will turn the fridge off so you can defrost it. So after you're finished with this work, to turn the fridge back on again, to take it back out of forced defrost, just depress the same buttons again, just touching the same locations, top left and middle right, and just hold that. Okay, it didn't work. Let's do it again. Sometimes it takes a couple of tries to get this to take. There we go. Touch the lighting button until the display goes blank, and then just leave it like that for a few seconds. It will go back into its normal mode. There you hear that ding. That indicates that the fridge is just back in its normal mode. Now if I, for example, touch the lighting button, it'll display the temp, and so the fridge is operating again. The next thing the tech did is he removed the ice box or the ice bucket. This is done just simply by just pushing up firmly on the cover and then just pulling it straight out. Now if the ice maker's iced up, the ice box is not going to pull out. It's just going to jam up. In that case, you're going to need to leave the fridge off for several hours, maybe all night long, and let it defrost. Your food inside the fridge will normally be just fine because the fridge will stay at a cool temperature, usually around 40 degrees or so. So the food will be unharmed, but the ice in the ice maker will go ahead and defrost and melt. So just leave the fridge off all night if necessary until you can get this ice box to slide out. So just again lift up on it and then just pull it straight out like this. It should easily come out, and just slide it all the way out of the fridge. You can see some of the sealant I installed on the bottom edge. There's also sealant that the technician applied outside of the ice maker along the bottom edge. And this was just RTV silicone sealant, so you can purchase that at a hardware store. I happen to have some brown sealant already, and so that's why it's brown. I just didn't want to purchase another tube. But to seal this ice box, of course you can do it on the bottom side or inside. I've seen videos of both. To do that, you need to remove this cover, take this screw out. This plastic cover will pull straight off, and there are two wire connectors beneath this cover that you need to depress a clip on the side of those and disconnect those. The next step would be to remove the ice maker itself, and the technician did supply a new part for this ice maker, and you can see the part number there. So this was an upgraded part that Samsung supplied. To remove this ice maker, you just simply take and remove this Phillips head screw, then take a flat bladed screwdriver and just push this bottom section of the tray over to the right just a little bit to allow it to clear a clip that's on this left side. At that time, this part of the tray will hinge downward, and there is a U-shaped coil above that that's a freezer coil in this fridge. This is unique to this fridge. That freezer coil has to be dropped down just a little bit, just gently pull down on it. You might need to use a flat bladed screwdriver. I recommend just using your finger. It should just hinge down. You want to drop it down just enough to allow the ice maker to pull out. So there's a clip up at the top you can see that you need to lift, and then the ice maker should just pull out. The clearance is fairly close, so you have to work with it a little bit. Be careful not to damage that freezer coil. If that freezer coil is damaged and it leaks, the entire fridge has to be replaced. So once you've removed the ice maker, then you'll want to remove the auger motor in the back. Again, very easy to do. Just there's a clip on the bottom in the back you can see that I'm pointing to with my finger. Just push that clip up and the auger motor just slides out. Again, you need to work with it a little bit because the clearances are fairly close. Once you get the ice maker out, the auger motor out, then you can seal along the inside with your silicone sealant, or of course you can seal the bottom edge as well if you prefer to do that. The new parts he provided was a heated drain tube that he installed on the auger motor, and then of course the new ice maker. So he slid the auger motor back in first and just pushed firmly on it until the clip snapped in place. To put the ice maker in, again, this bottom portion hinges down and it slips over the freezer coil. So that freezer coil is in between this top section and this bottom hinged section. There are videos on the internet that show people actually removing this. It's easy to do as long as you just take your time, don't force anything. It's not a problem. You slide the ice maker in place, and there's some cutouts on the top that slide in place, kind of like a groove, so that everything lines up. You push it all the way in until it snaps up in there. Then you simply push this bottom section back up, and it will snap in place over this clip on the left side and reinstall your screw. Reconnect your two wire connectors, place this cover back over the top, and you're set to go. Sliding the ice box back in, or the ice tray back in, just slide it straight in. It shouldn't be any problem. If it jams up or anything, it's probably because it's not straight. Push it all the way in until it latches in place, and you're good to go. Well, I had the fridge pulled out. I removed the back panels so you can see the compressor area here and the condensing fan, the condensing coil. And so this coil was really loaded up with a lot of lint and dirt, which happens quickly. So what I did is I took a squirt bottle with just straight water in it and just sprayed it on the coil like this, and just rinse the coil off. So you can get to the side and the front pretty easily. To get to the other side of the coil, which is not really accessible, you can squirt water through the back side to clean the lint off of the coil. The tech also replaced this main control board, which is just accessed behind the cover on the back of the fridge. You can see that the access panel has been replaced. This access panel is just on the back side at the bottom of the fridge, and behind this panel is the compressor and the condensing coil that I just cleaned. One of the claims made by some of the technicians in the videos that you find on YouTube is that these tubes exiting the back of the fridge on the top right side need to be sealed with silicone sealant to prevent any air from entering the icebox area. The technician that came out adjusted the water line tube. He said that it extended into the ice maker mechanism a little too far and was causing a little splash over. But he did not seal these tubes. This was not something that apparently was recommended by Samsung. So the tubes are left unsealed. I'm sure that they, of course, are sealed as they pass through the back of the fridge. There's probably some type of foam sealant or something there. So in any case, these were not sealed with any silicone sealant. So I'm leaving those as is. Okay, so that wraps up the repair on the Samsung fridge. Again, I'll keep you posted. I'll let you know how successful these replacement parts were and whether I have any more trouble with this fridge. So far, as I said, it's working great, so we'll hope and pray for the best. A couple of things as a wrap up. Be sure whenever you work on your fridge that you unplug it from its power source. Don't try to work on it while it's plugged in. Cleaning the condensing coil. This is something you should put in your calendar and do this on an annual basis. Those coils load up with lint at an amazing pace. You'd be very surprised how quickly they load up. Once that coil loads up with lint and dust, the efficiency of your refrigerator is greatly decreased. So to clean that coil, you can clean it as I showed you with a squirt bottle and water, which works great because you don't get any dust in the house. You can also use a vacuum with a soft bristled brush, but be careful not to damage the fins on the coil. You can also use high pressure air. The disadvantage to using air is that although it gets the coil very clean, it blows a lot of dust into your home. So that's why I generally don't recommend that. Sometimes you can use a vacuum in conjunction with the air to catch the dust as you blow it off the coil, but you're still going to get a lot of dust in your kitchen. Please like and subscribe to this channel. Follow us on Domity. You're going to see future videos on repairs around the house and just cool stuff you run into on a daily basis. I was in the heating and air conditioning service and repair business for 25 years. I owned a mechanical contracting company in 2 different cities, and I have a lot of experience in those fields, and so I'm going to be posting videos on how to care for your furnace, how to fix plumbing problems, and all kinds of things like that that you can find really useful around the house. So please follow this new channel called Domity and like these videos so that we can perhaps get some viewers in the future. Again, I'm Frederick Bartels, and thanks for watching.